La Décima. It was beyond an obsession. It was a culture, an ethos, a pervasive sense of purpose, and more. For 11 years, Real Madrid chased it, and for 11 years they failed. And after each defeat, the sense of hunger and desire only grew stronger. This desperate urgency weighed on the players, even in their best years, with the virtually unstoppable 2011-2012 Dream Team failing in the most cruel way possible to Bayern Munich in a penalty shootout. It was in this backdrop that Real Madrid got their rematch against Bayern in 2013-2014. Some circumstances had changed. Carlo Ancelotti and Pep Guardiola had replaced Jose Mourinho and Jupp Heynckes respectively, but the infatuation with the 10th and the searing pain from the 11-12 loss remained. The first leg, which occurred at the Bernabeu, resulted in a narrow victory for the Whites. A Benzema goal capped off a conservative defensive performance, allowing Madrid to carry a 1-0 lead to Munich. But it wasn't too convincing. Bayern probably deserved a goal themselves, meaning Real would need to find another gear to progress to their first final in over a decade. The legendary BBC led a midfield consisting of Luka Modric, Xabi Alonso, and Angel Di Maria, while left-back Fabio Coentrão kept his place ahead of the more offensively minded Marcelo. Ancelotti used what was ostensibly a very offensive lineup in a pretty defensive manner. He asked his team to cede possession and defend deep, with Bale dropping back into midfield to form a compact 4-4-2. But it would be wrong to say that Madrid were passive, as their objective was to create a congested atmosphere that reduced Bayern Munich's time on the ball, thereby forcing turnovers. Ancelotti accomplished this by assigning specific duties to each of his players. Bale and Di Maria were given man-marking assignments on Bayern fullbacks David Alaba and Philipp Lahm. Likewise, Madrid's fullbacks Dani Carvajal and Fabio Coentrão were asked to stick close to Bayern wingers Frank Ribery and Arjen Robben. Given the fluid nature of Pep's system, which saw a constant interchanging of positions between fullback and winger, Madrid's wide men had to shift all over the place. But Bale and Di Maria were not totally tied to Alaba and Lahm, as they had to use their defensive IQ to know when to abandon their fullbacks and move to a more zonal system. This usually occurred on occasions when it became clear that Bayern were going to attempt attacking down the middle. Madrid's flexible defensive system completely shut off access to the middle, something that forced Bayern Munich to the wings more often than they would have liked. As mentioned before, wide attacks from Bayern were carefully tracked by Bale, Di Maria, Carvajal, and Coentrão, with the Madrid fullbacks excelling in their individual duels. The duo became such a menace that Ribery completely lost his head and slapped Carvajal in the face in the 44th minute. Counter-attacking was a little more difficult due to Bayern's counter-press, but slowly, Madrid began to figure it out. Ronaldo and Benzema started to show as outlets for their teammates, and Modric and Alonso quickly laid passes off to Bale and Di Maria whenever the two wingers decided to defend more narrow. The supreme sharpness of Madrid's attackers began to produce results, and in the 15th minute, Di Maria won possession and fed the ball to Ronaldo. Ronaldo then backheeled the pass back to the Argentinian, who burst up the pitch and won a corner. Sergio Ramos rose highest and found the back of the net to make it 1-0. Such moves began to be repeated with greater frequency, and soon another counterattack manifested itself, resulting in a Real Madrid free kick. The set-piece delivery was perfect for the second time, and once again, Sergio Ramos was there to score. In the 34th minute, Madrid roared forward once more. This time, Benzema got in on the action, Bale made a surging run, and it all ended with Ronaldo striking the ball into the back of the net for his 15th Champions League goal of the season, which was a record at the time. Stunned, Pep made changes after halftime, bringing on Javi Martinez for Mandzukic and later Mario Götze for Ribery and Claudio Pizarro for Müller. These adjustments had little to no effect, and Bayern began to get desperate very quickly. Crosses and long shots became the norm, but Casillas and co held firm. Meanwhile, Madrid's counterattacks continued. As the game trickled towards full time, the reality of the situation kicked in. Fans began to file out of the stadium en masse, and the Bayern players looked defeated. It was all over and there was no need to score another. So, naturally, Cristiano Ronaldo decided to score again, this time off a free kick that went under the wall. A couple minutes later, the referee blew his whistle, and it was official. Real Madrid were going to their first final in 12 years. La Décima was only one step away. Thank you for watching this week's School of Real Madrid video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and support us on Patreon if you like our content.